Yep.
Welcome, 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 one and all you Wednesday Warriors slash Wendigos slash whatever we want to call you, fans of the Toddcast, people who love us, people who we
Sort of.
consider people who we consider family, the usual. Um, so cool. All right. Yeah, let's talk about some stuff that happened this week. So, or yeah, let's talk about some stuff that happened this week. We announced a couple people for the
We
show.
did.
Um, I guess we can talk about them too. Maybe. Let me let me pull up the full list. Hold on.
Yeah, I was
Try
gonna
to.
say I thought I had it all written down. I didn't have it the paper.
Okay. So, including the guys getting announced this week and next week, because I've already updated the website.
No, okay.
So Dan Gorman got announced this week. He's done a lot of cool cover work. He's also done a lot of like Marvel cards, Walking Dead cards. It's a lot of fun. Um, Dave Nessler, pinup and Disney artist, really great dude. Dave Wachter, Iron Fist, Power of the Dragon, Godzilla, Punisher, Ninja Turtles, all kinds of stuff. Pretty sure he did a Star Wars book too, and didn't put that in there. I think
Yeah, I
he's done
believe
Star
he
Wars.
was not his last project was Star Wars or something like that.
No, his last one was
Onward.
Planet of the Apes. Um, I thought he might have done like a one of the High Republic books.
Okay.
I think he did. It was one of the miniseries ones. DJ Kaufman, who has done the awesome art logo for the con. He's done Hero by Night, Hulk 100 Project, and he also runs Draw or Die. Super cool dude. He's gonna be running a live Draw or Die at the show. Don Simpson, who's done Megaton Man, King Kong, Bizarre Heroes, George Broderick Jr., Quantum Leap, Holy Cow, Lost in Space, Radioactive Man, all around fun dude to hang out with. Super cartoonist. Howard Bender, Action Comics, Legion of Superheroes. He also did Star Wars for Marvel UK. Joe Woos, who does Maze Tunes. He does Cartoon Academy on PBS. It's won like a ton of Emmys. Um, so uh Josh Blaylock, who will be officially announced this week or next week, is coming on the show next Thursday. Just so you know, live to talk about the newest iteration of Mercy Sparks and all the fun things that are going on in his life, which is cool. He's a great dude. Larry Stroman, he did the Tribe, X Factor, Ghost Rider, World's Finest. We've already talked about that and how they're launching the Tribe. Mark Morales, Star Wars High Republic, Thor, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Deadpool. Um, Another great dude. First time he's come to the show too, him and Larry both. Maria Wolf, uh, which I'm going to talk about a book that I am ordering the Maria Wolf cover for because it's freaking awesome this week. But she's done New Mutants, Transformers, Marvel Legacy, X-Men, Cobra Commander. There's the book. And she's doing a book where she's going to do the interiors for the first time this year, but I don't think that that's been announced what it is yet. So I'm pretty excited to see that.
Good
Matt
for
Horak,
her.
Spider-Man, Deadpool, Punisher, Star Wars Return of the Jedi Rebellion, which came out at the end of last year, Norse Mythology, which he worked on with P. Craig Russell. He's good friends with P. Craig Russell. Pat Olaf, who did Catwoman, Spider-Girl, is currently doing Secret Wars, Battle Worlds. He also did Spider-Man too. I should probably list that on there, but he did Spider-Man as well. Ron Friends, Amazing Spider-Man, Superman, Thor, Fantastic Four. Uh, he did a Flash annual. He did a lot. Electric Blue Spider-Man. Um, Sandy Plunkett. He did some Marvel Comics Presents work, some Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, Rocketeer Adventures, Conan the Barbarian. He's done a lot of like 2 or 3 issue stories.
Well, he
So I'm really
did the
kind of
Weapon X from Marvel Presents.
yeah, Yeah.
Which
So
anybody who's a big Weapon X fan, that is the story,
mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so he's definitely one of those dudes you're gonna want to hang out with.
mhm.
Sean Gabrin, who did This Little Piggy, Black Betty, Puppet Master, Shark Squatch, writer, former editor, great dude. Stan Konopka from The Rejected, um, super awesome guy. One of the best guys to just sit and listen to stories. He's got a million of them. He's super great. Steve Geiger, he's returning first time since 2019. X-Men, Punisher War Journal, Fantastic Four, Batman, Superman, or Batman, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, Bloodshot, Scion. There's another one that he did that I can't remember, but he did like a lot of iconic covers that are like now starting to trend more and more and more, especially in the Punisher War Journal and X-Men stuff. Because he did that one white one, or that one that had like this like the circly foil crap in the background. Like he did that one.
Okay.
So yeah. Todd Johnson, who did The Tribe, Tom Scioli, who did Fantastic Four Grand Design, Eight Opus, Godland. He also did like the I Am Stan Lee, I Am Jack Kirby, Trish Forrester or Forstner, Stray Dogs, My Little Pony, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, great. And then the last one on there is my personal, awesomely good friend, brother from another mother, Vito Del Sante, Stray, Superman, Batman Adventures, X-Men Unlimited. So we have a pretty decent stable there. And I am telling you guys right now, there are at least 5 more people to be announced that are not on that
Nice.
list. At least.
We discussed them before the podcast. So, and guys, trust me, you'll be excited.
Hmm. If it
I'm
comes
not,
through. If
yeah,
it comes through.
if they come through, yes.
If it happens.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, worst comes to worst, this guy here will be here signing autographs. He will just put his paw, but you must give him a treat. That is the rule. So,
Cool.
because apparently now he wants love because now the dog's getting all the love. So now I'm being pulled in both
jealous.
directions. Oh yeah.
Jelly.
Well,
He's such a jelly.
He is the baby. He is the youngest. Huh. You're barely a year old. You're barely a year old. Ah,
Okay.
big baby.
So, I guess let's talk about some of the other books that came out this week. We'll do the share screen thing real quick, and then we'll talk about actual books and other stuff that happened this week. So, actually, let me show you guys how to listen to the Toddcast if you just want to do audio. Like you don't want to, and you don't want to hunt for it. You just go to our website, ndcomics.com, click on the Toddcast button. Click on this part where it's broken. or you can hit YouTube. It takes you to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna fix this later. You click the broken box, and then there's our logo, and then it starts with the newest episodes. Tells you how long they are right off the bat. Like when you hit play, you can subscribe to it, and it just kicks it right into your iTunes. It's pretty sweet. All right, stores. Last week we looked at What Ohio, right? So let's look at Waterfront this week.
Our favorite.
Yeah. Let me make this wider so we get more per shot. New releases. Okay, that's good. There were 85. This even tells you how many new releases there were this week, right? Oh, we're gonna go to comics. Make that comics only. Come on. Never mind. All right. Alien 3. That looks fun. I love that Tim Hildebrandt is getting love for these covers because like we have a giant Hildebrandt poster in Butler above the stairs to the basement. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh man, the 90s Marvel cards. It was like the only good stuff was Hildebrandt stuff. And I like it.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's one of my favorite covers is Wolverine and Sabretooth, that Masterpiece 3 there.
Oh yeah. Avengers Twilight #1, which I will be talking about later. I really thought this was interesting, but we'll talk about why later. So we got Black Panther, some Cable. There's Cap Wolf. Justin's going to talk about that. We're going to load more. Also, if you notice it says please inquire, that's usually because we're either sold out or it's because it's an incentive cover. You can't just order it. I love this Daredevil Dave Marquez cover. I love this Daredevil Tim Hildebrandt cover. Super cool. Cruella DeVille. All the puppies in both of our houses just ran away. Or hid somewhere. I, for some reason, really love this Fantastic Four cover. I don't read this book right now, but man, does that cover look good, right?
That's all the Alex Ross stuff, right?
Okay. Yeah. He's doing all the covers for him. Yeah. Firefly, G-Fan, Guardians of the Galaxy, Invincible Iron Man, Jackpot, which is kind of cool. Except I really don't like the look with the glasses on. I especially don't like the main cover. Like, I think the art that art does not make me think that that's Mary Jane at all. I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, what are you doing? Secret Wars 1, if you didn't read the original version of it, you can reread the first issue. I hope they do the whole run, like all 12 issues.
They probably will. They've been doing this for a while, so.
Spider-Man, Miguel O'Hara, 2099 #3, and this marks the 100th book for Spider-Man 2099. So that's why this Mark Bagley homage cover is the homage to Spider-Man 2099 #1, which is cool. Miracle Man, nasty.
It looks nasty.
It does. Rebel Moon, if you're watching the show, Rebel Moon.
I have yet to see that. I hear good things though.
I hear good things, but I just don't know if I want to sit through something else that Zack Snyder made. So
I rewatched The Watchmen, and if that came out today, people would be like, "Oh, it's such a good movie."
Yeah. I think that is still his best movie that he's done, or at least best comic book movie.
Yes.
So, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, Obi-Wan Kenobi, High Republic. Let's see, Stranger Things, Street Fighter Ninja Turtles, which I'm surprised you're not reading, but you probably read it.
It's already come and gone. Right?
Did you get yourself?
That's listed there.
I think we had these a while ago, but the Waterfront's apparently now just getting the Crow pops.
They're cool, but I already have the original at home here.
Yeah.
Although I have to say the one with the fire ring around it, that's pretty cool.
I
think it's the second one there.
Yeah,
it has like the fire, like when he sets everything on fire on the floor.
Yeah.
Which if they did that as a whole pop like movie moment, that would have been better.
Yeah. I agree. Wheel of Time, White Widow. It's a very anime White Widow looking book cover. We're almost to the end because it's alphabetical. X-Men. I really love this X-Men Justin Mason variant. Like, it's just really cool to me.
Yeah.
So, I did not actually end up getting one of those, but I'll be trying, I think, because I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, and Exo Manowar Unconquered #5.
There you go.
It's out. Come check it out. All right. I was like, where the hell does the stop share button go? Found it. See here.
I will forewarn you guys that I am doing what you did last week, John, where I went back on a couple of books because most of that stuff I don't read. And I'm just not going to pick up a random book just to read. It's got to be something that hits my taste. So the Cap Wolf I was already reading anyway, but the other two books that I have, and in our review, they're only a couple months older, so they're still at the tail end
That's what I
of
thought when I was looking them up.
2023.
I was like,
Yeah,
it's like, did he go backwards? But it's fine.
yeah. I have to, if it's one of those weeks where I'm like, and I really looked. I'm like, some of these look cool, but I'm like, do I want to start something that I'm not too
Right.
sure of?
By the way, I'm
So
having my second full beer of the year, which happens to be Iron Maiden the Trooper.
nice.
And it
Are we
is the
celebrate?
18th. How about that?
I was gonna say we're celebrating Rob's birthday, like everybody was on Facebook. Shout out
No.
to Rob out there.
No,
I
no.
have a plan for him the night before I go to bed. I have 20 Skeletor memes. I'm just gonna shoot at the very end of
Oh
the
my God. Dude, I'm gonna it's so we're talking about one of my fraternity brothers who's been a longtime friend and works in the con staff, and his birthday's today. And so I'm in a group chat with him and one other brother. And the other brother literally this morning it was happy birthday, Rob, and then it was like 12 Star Trek memes about happy birthday. And I just said, I can't compete with those, so happy birthday, Rob. And he's like, that's fair. It's good though. So, but yeah, I imagine he's 42 today because that's how old I am, and I think he's slightly younger than me. He's slightly older, which would make him 43, which I don't, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I should ask him that. I can't remember. Can't remember if I'm older or if he's older. I just know our birthdays are very, very close, only like 3 months apart. So, anyway, let's talk some comics because there's really no other big nerd news that I have. So,
The was it the boys mini trailer came out today,
oh, I didn't even
which
see it.
it doesn't give you a lot except you get the intro of what's his name coming in. His character is going to be on the boys' side. The guy who plays Negan. What's
Oh,
since
uh,
he's coming in. It's everybody from Supernatural. They're going to invite at least once, and
that's hilarious.
we're going to see Felicia Day in there. We're going to see some of these
Yes.
other guys in here that are just going to be
I
randomly in the
would love to
boys.
see Felicia Day and the boys. That would be fucking hilarious.
I'm sure she would do it. She is a geek after
Mm.
all. She's probably down
Well, I
for it.
agree. I agree. All right, you're first.
All right. Now this is from this came out in October. This is Exodus. This is in that long line of metal/rock and roll comics done by Opus. And I have to tell you, this one's very Tales from the Crypt ish. It's not funny in any way. This is very dark and
Right. Well, the Slayer one I think I read it last week just to read it was very like we're gonna really gloss over this whole like it pretty much gets up to the point where it's like Seasons in the Abyss, cool, we're done. Oh, we're gonna quit. Okay.
well, this one's definitely more, along the path of uh demons and all that, as you can tell the demon here.
Mm,
The story starts off with this Aaron Hawthorne gets a call from her sister's college. Apparently her sister has gone missing. And I guess the sister's kind of a rebel. But Aaron is former FBI. She quit her job so she could help her sister raise her sister, and you know, and she's like, "Well, what happened to my sister?" And the school's like, "We don't know. We can't find her." So of course, Aaron goes on this big hunt to find her. Um, she stops at this gas station. Aaron stops at a gas station along this big windy road as she's searching, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, this road leads to Blackwood," and he's like, if anybody's heading towards Blackwood, he's like, you might as well just turn back around because nobody ever comes back. Um, and then we find out Aaron's sister was a scientist studying what was called the wavelength, which is a weird music that was broadcast throughout what like the airwaves, radio, satellite. But they said the the older the unit you hear from it, the better it seems to sound. But it gives you a hell of a headache. Um, so Aaron's like arrives in Blackwood, and you just see these lines of cars that looks like something out of The Walking Dead, where it's just abandoned cars everywhere. And as she's searching the city, she finds the old church with hundreds of people just dancing like a big giant rave. And you find out they're dancing to this pipe organ played by a demon. And she finds her sister and she's like, we're getting you out of here. And the sister's all like skin and bones. She's bleeding out her eyeballs. This music is like causing all sorts of weird, things going on with it. Then you see like she grabs her sister and she's just running, trying to get away from this. And the demon's like, nobody leaves Blackwood. It ends up being like the escape, the whole escape through and everything was just a giant illusion, and she is stuck in the illusion. So like I said, very Tales from the Cryptish. The art was really good, so cool. I like this. I will give this a solid like scrambled eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, overall, if you're a big fan of these metal comics, especially if a band like Exodus, we know, this is all fun and games, storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, pretty classic, pretty good. So
It's good.
that's my review.
The story kind of reminds me of like a messed up Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, my first book is Jay Garrick, The Flash, number 5. Number 5. Numero Cuatro. I had to think about that for a minute. I had to brush up on my Spanish. Um, so this book actually gives you the backstory of the villain, who is Dr. Humes or Hughes.
Looks like Dr. Doom's cousin.
Kinda. So you find out that Hughes is the guy that basically gave Jay Garrick his powers. Like he hired him as like a lab assistant and then a tech, and he set it up one day to like get the right chemicals to fall all over him and give him his powers. So Jay becomes this awesome dude. Dr. Humes is trying to get the formula to repeat again, but for some reason it won't. So he figures out that he probably just actually like triggered Jay's metahuman gene instead. He's also the guy that made the crazy cybernetic bears they fought in a couple issues before that. So then there's a scene where Jay's got his daughter at the same lab, and something happens across town. The doctor's like, well, if it's Jay's DNA, maybe she has the same metagene, so let's see if it works. And so he makes another explosion happen, more chemicals, more blah blah blah, and that triggers her to have her hyperspeed, So then you see the scene that was at the end of the first book where she's confronting him. She kind of falls into nowhere, and then all of a sudden they don't remember her, they don't remember him. Um, so it's mostly about the villain versus actual Jay Garrick and Judy. So I mean it was I give it like a I don't know, like a whatever the equivalent to like a 3 would be out of 5. Like one egg, 2 pieces of bacon, 1 piece of toast, and a half a glass of orange juice. Like very or like a short boy orange juice, like not a tall boy. Just a very just very meh. Um, this is the first book in this series that I felt that way with. So it's not that it's bad, it's just it felt filler, but it also was about the bad guy. So it worked out.
Okay.
Boom. Is that the right book?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's why he's doing that signing on Saturday at Cards, Comics, and Collectibles. Fuck you, Tom King.
Jeez. Uh, this is Animal Pound. I only read number 1. I know number 2 came out last week.
Oh, maybe that's what he's doing. It's one of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
So
But I only read number 1. Again, by Boom Studios. It starts off with this old blind dog named Lucky, and he's talking to a cat named Fifi. And as you know, Fifi's like, is there, what do you want me to do? What are we gonna do? And he's like, well, there's nothing you can do for me. And it's like watching a slow execution. He's telling her like how the, all the things that happens to cats and dogs done by humans in the animal's perspective. And this really is very Animal Farm, but updated. But he dies. He gets put down.
oh,
So Fifi kind of takes up the mantle as leader. She gets the cats to rally. She gets the dogs to rally, and together they kick the humans out of the pound. They lock the doors, and they write it like she dips her paw in paint and writes was it oh, I forget what she like something profound on the wall. I forget what the exact quote was. But it's very, like I said, very Animal House ish, where it's, we want to rule ourselves. We don't need the humans. Screw this. But at the end, they're like there's one black cat, and he's like, I have a feeling that this isn't the end of the adventure, or the end of this story. So it continues on issue 2. I don't know what issue 2 is. Again, we did not have it in the store for me to read, or I would do like kind of a combo of both. But it's really well done, really well written. Again, Tom King. It's the kind of thing we kind of expect from him, is
right.
a well thought out story. The art wasn't bad. It's relatively good. But it's definitely profound. It's very, like, especially Lucky's description of as he's walking down like death row per se.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely had a tear in my eye reading it as an animal lover. So if you love animals, this may not be the book for you, because this is very, very heart wrenching. But if you're, if you take the symbolism of, what's currently going on, in the current society, I get where he's coming from. Totally giving this full omelet, like a full Western omelet.
High
Some,
praise. High praise.
yeah, give me
Getting
some
the full
hash
Western
browns.
omelet.
Yeah,
Balls.
hash browns. Give you maybe a slice of ham to go with it there, some good stuff.
Ooh, spicy.
Like so far, I mean, Boom Studios, when they do a book like this, it's hard to argue with good
It's hard to,
storytelling.
I'll be honest, it's hard to argue that Boom doesn't do good books
Yes.
at all. Like they do really good books all the
Mhm.
time. All right. All right, my next book is Avengers Twilight #1 by one Chip Zdarsky. His return to Marvel. Because he hasn't done anything with Marvel since I think Howard the Duck. No, Daredevil. Sorry. So he's been doing a lot of DC stuff. Anyway, so this week's the first issue is like literal old man Steve Rogers waking up. His wife brings him a cup of coffee. She's his doctor. He at some point was a senator. He also at one point got the super soldier serum ripped out of him. So he goes off and meets Luke Cage and Matt Murdock in a park. They're both old as hell too. Um they talk about how like like Ultron jacked up everything, and like the heroes all died because of Ultron, and well, not all of the heroes, but most of the heroes died because of Ultron. And like this society no longer has like a video phone or anything. Like it's real weird. So,
Imagine that happened now. Ugh.
oh my God, that'd be awesome. It'd be so awesome. It'd be awesome, but it wouldn't as well, because like it'd be awesome because it's like back when we had just a regular flip phone, it was a lot less distracting as an item, because it's not a full computer in your pocket. It's just a
Yeah.
phone. So,
You just you just play with your phone to get the right
right.
ringtone for each person.
Oh yeah. So then he's at home with his wife and they're watching he's making dinner, and a news thing comes on, and they're like, a new docuseries, Read Between the Lines, the story of the Red Skull and how he was actually was gonna defeat Hitler, um and his and how hold on, let me see if I can find how they said it. It was really, and the men who came after, fighting and twisting the story. Evidence shows Schmidt worked against Hitler, trying to take the Fuhrer down from within the Third Reich. But then they don't go on to say because he wanted to take over the Nazis. Like, so Steve gets all like all in a tizzy about it, and he goes on the news to talk about it. And Jim Stark, who is the son of Tony and Janet Pym, or Janet Van Dyne, I should say, whose butler is the younger brother of the other Jarvis, is like a total, like, it's kind of like that, like douchey, like know-it-all, like I'm gonna twist things because I want to twist things kind of guy, right? So he gets on the TV and he starts, talking to Uncle Steve, and he says stuff like, Mr. Rogers here has suddenly become quite vocal about this docuseries shouldn't air, slinking out of retirement only when it suits his legacy and in danger of being tarnished. And he's like, that's not true, even remotely true. The Red Skull was a monster. A lot of good men and women died trying to stop him. This travesty of reporting is a slap in the face to those heroes. And he's like, oh yeah, heroes. Jim's like, you keep using that word. Do you think everyone will eventually believe it? At what point do these people stop being considered heroes? And he's like, you and the others, like my father, painted the world as black and white, heroes and villains. But then you brought us H Day, and they said Hero Day, which is the national tragedy. Um, and he goes on to basically say like how some of the heroes weren't any better than some of the villains, and because they were like street level anti-hero guys. And Steve just gets really pissed off and walks outside, and he almost has a heart attack. because again, no super serum. Um, and he watches this kid get, well, first he watches Spider-Man die, which was kind of cool. And then because it felt very like Avengers Infinity War, like it felt like when he's disappearing in that, and he's like, "Don't let me go, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go." Blah, 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 blah. Like it was very much so that. Um, so anyway, so he's watching this kid's filming these skateboard dudes playing, but he's actually not allowed to have a video camera. So and there's a curfew, so they're out after curfew. So these half Iron Man suited shield agents that are now like the patrolmen of the planet yell at them to try to tell them to go back. Rogers interferes, he kicks a couple of their asses, but not all of them. And then he gets rescued at the end. Then they cut to Jim Stark going to the raft to talk to the head of Tony Stark. It's literally his head floating around the tank. And he came to talk to his dad about upgrading armor and shit. Steve wakes up. You find out Luke Cage is actually the one who saved him and his gang. Matt Murdock is now dead. And they rebuilt the super soldier serum thing, like full cocoon, looks just like it did in the movie, like to power him back up. And he gets re-injected with it, and he's like, I'm gonna go build the real Avengers. And that's how the first book ends. It was super good. I love this like old Charlton Heston style Cap where it's like, get off my lawn. Like, but he's not like crazy right winger Cap. He's just like angry that the world fell apart type thing. He fought so hard for it, you know. I'm gonna give this a 2-egg omelet versus a 3-egg omelet, and a cup of hot piping hot coffee,
Okay.
and because he's an old man, a half a grapefruit.
I was gonna say I read the story too. The story's awesome. I'm not a big fan of the art. I feel it's too
I thought it was really dark, like
it's dark and
physically
very
dark.
abstract. It's very like there's not a lot of definition in the faces half the time. And
Well,
you're
yeah,
like,
'cause-
what
yeah.
the heck? I get it. It's probably supposed to be this way because I think they're going for like what the an old school pulp comic where it's a lot of
Yeah.
darkness and a lot of the
It's
shadow and the
yeah.
all that kind of deal. So
It's I put it like it's somewhere between like Old Man Logan and The Shadow. Like
okay, yeah.
like it's in between there. But now I just really want to see Dennis Quaid in the US agent armor because his son played US agent in Cap Falcon Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
And I think it would just be fun to see him like that, to kind of be like, oh, so that's what he would look like old. Like or get like Schwarzenegger to wear this sucker. Be awesome. So he'd be a Captain
Except
America.
Schwarzenegger would forget that he's Mr. Freeze. He would do all the Mr. Freeze
But
lines
dressed
from
like
Batman.
Captain America. Let's
Yeah.
think about how awesome that would be. Right?
Always check your pipes with the frozen. Yeah.
Right. It's time to chill out.
Oh,
So, all right.
bad puns.
There you go. Talk about Cap Wolf.
All right. Well, this is the last issue of the Cap and the Howling Commandos. Is it the Commandos are destroying the Wolf base, Wolf Lab, or it's destroyed. So it's kind of like everything's kind of blown up. Everybody's kind of coughing and doing the whole "oh, we survived the explosion" type deal. And as that is happening, Cap is fighting Roz, the female who's working with the Nazis who happens to be the head werewolf. I guess she's the OG werewolf.
Mhm.
And they're as they're fighting, they're going back and forth about morals and this, that, like the normal Cap stuff that we all know and love. The French spy that was helping the commandos and Cap is trying to find the antidote um, by grabbing one of the Nazi scientists, and he's like, "Oh, it's not an antidote; it's just a suppressant. And it's very volatile. We don't know how this is, this will work." Blah blah blah. Well, the Nazi commander uh, and the scientist kind of beat on her and surprise her just before she looks like she's gonna get killed. Here comes Dum Dum Dugan, saves her, uh, beats up the scientist, takes a bullet for the lady, and then they have the whole romantic kind of World War II romance there in the war front there. Uh, you switch back. It's a lot of back and forth. So just to forewarn you. But they wrapped it up very quickly. Cap defeats Rose. Rose just kind of is like, I can't do this anymore. I'll be the only werewolf, this, that, and the other. She runs away. A grenade explodes and she gets ripped apart. So that's the end of her. The Nazi command officer has the antidote. He tries to destroy it. Ends up getting shot by Dugan. Cap saves the serum. He gets treated with the serum. He gets returned back to normal. Dugan and Cap work out the differences, which is from the very beginning, because he didn't want Cap. He thought Cap was fake. And he realizes he's like, no, you are a true American hero. And then it does the whole end with a question mark. So I don't know if they're going to do like a volume 2 of this or not, or they're just assuming that, the serum's going to kick in again like it did in the 90s there, and the reappearance of Cap Wolf later in the Cap line. I enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. Again, I like Cap Wolf. I know a lot of people think it was stupid, but this is 90s writing, but they kind of added very, serious tone to this. This was really good. The art was excellent. I love the way the werewolves looked in this. I will give this a solid 2 scrambled eggs, some mushrooms in there, nothing spectacular, just a solid book with solid art. If you're a Cap fan, it's got to be like up there, even to pique your curiosity just to read. It's literally just 4 books, guys, and it was worth it. What?
Captain America Werewolf in Paris.
Yep. Why
Captain
not?
America Werewolf in London.
They should have did that in for a variant. I'm surprised they
Oh, that'd have been awesome. So
didn't. They didn't do it.
I love that movie. I just watched it again like not too long ago. So, all right. My last book is Cobra Commander Numero Uno. So I will say that of the Energon universe, this book might be my favorite one so far. Out of the 3 or 4 Transformers, Duke, this book I think is the best one so far. So it starts off with there's a Cobra Commander walks into a bar. But he's got like a big hat on, so you can't really see his face. And he's like, "Hey, I need a vehicle." And
You have to do it right. You go, hey, I need
no,
a
actually,
skull.
it's actually I am in need of a vehicle. Speak now if you can be of assistance. So this old guy's like, what's with the lisp and blah blah blah, the circus is in town, good luck, it's cold out there. So Cobra Commander follows him out, murders him, steals his car.
Nice.
Um, yeah. Um, then it's a flashback to Cobra, no, 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 which I absolutely did when I read that. I was like, no fucking way. So if you've,
Still one of my favorite cartoons
I was gonna
is
say, if you've
the
seen
G.I.
G.I.
Joe.
Joe the movie, which is
Yes.
by far probably the best thing that has ever happened with G.I. Joe ever.
Hmm.
Um, you see that Cobra Commander was actually a scientist, and like people thought he was, or people found out he was doing all these really bad experiments, so they broke in and tried to kill him, and he like fought back, got caught up in an explosion, his whole body gets blown apart. Um, he's like basically wrapped like a mummy, except he has like a weird, his one eye has shifted. His right eye is not a real eye anymore. It's now a snake's eye, like, but it's like right here. It's pretty sweet. So that's why he wears the metal mask, because you can't see that, right?
Mhm.
And Pythona is there. Um, and they go and talk to oh, um Gobulus, right? Gobulus. Is that how you say his name? I can't remember. Um, and he's basically like, like Gobulus is like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm gonna banish you. And Cobra Commander's like, why? I should be like the like you should be kissing my ass for all the stuff I've done for you. Um, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill you instead. So he tries to have the guards kill him. Cobra Commander throws uh these little like bugs that he made after them, and they just like completely kill the guys. Like they made one like rips the throat out. Like it's awesome. Um, and he's like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm leaving Cobra Law. Goes to his lab, and you see that he actually has the body of Megatron, like like trapped with no arms. Um, and he's like, "You have showed me so much about the universe and blah blah blah, and there's so much out there that I think I'm gonna try to go conquer all that stuff." And so he leaves, and fast forwards to after he stole that dude's car, meets with another guy, who they then set coordinates to go and see the Dreadnoks. So this book was like so good. Like I can't like this is like the massive 4 egg omelet with all the meats, all the vegetables, a pound of bacon, hot sauce, pepper jack cheese, a cup of orange juice, and a cup of coffee. That's how good this book
Damn.
was. It was fucking great.
I'm gonna
Um,
say.
I really enjoyed the shit out of that. So, all right, those are all the books we got. So, um,
Nice.
so I will also say I watched the end of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on Apple.
Okay.
That show is really good. Like if you are one of those guys that's like, man, I really like what they did with Godzilla and King Kong in the last like legendary studio stuff. Like so Kong or sorry, Godzilla King of Monsters, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla versus Kong, and then the new Kong
Hmm.
X Godzilla New Empire, whatever the hell it's called, coming out. Um, this is our first look at Hollow Earth. It ties all of that stuff together to tell you, like, to basically go, oh yeah, this is how they go around the planet. This is this is how the Hollow Earth works. This is why Godzilla doesn't seem to age. Like it's all in there. It's very, very
Nice.
cool. There's there's probably like every like other episode, there's probably a kaiju, or at least a kaiju, if not Godzilla.
Hmm.
Um, the last episode has a cool Godzilla fight with like a giant bat, and he just like at one point just like rips him in half and throws him into a mountain. It was super
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
um, and then at the end you see Old Man Kong, because so they go. One of the people go into the Hollow Earth in the 60s. The other one goes in 2015. They're in there for what feels like maybe a day, if that.
Mhm.
They get out, and when they get spit out, it's 2017, but they went in like South Korea. They got spit out on Kong or on Skull Island.
Huh.
So yeah, it was really crazy. Very weird.
So it's a weird time traveling hole.
It's all well, yeah, because like so they basically say like it's not just like a hole into the middle of the earth. It's like you go down so far, then you basically hit a wormhole, and then that shoots you into the hollow earth, which is inside the planet, and time there is very slow. So because that's how the Wyatt Doug no Wyatt, what's his name? Quaid. Uh that's why he's still young, and then Dennis Quaid is like playing himself at like 120, or almost like 100 years old by the time he's in the 2015s. So that's why it's like so because he spends what he thought was a week down there ended up being 20 years outside. Yeah, so it was very very interesting. Oh, Kurt Russell, sorry. Kurt Russell, Wyatt Russell, those were the guys. My bad. Thank you, Marvin. My bad. Um, but it was a very good show. It was very interesting. If you like that kind of stuff, I highly recommend checking it out.
I was gonna say
So
I don't know if there's anything comic booky coming out. Everything's kind of on a lull and everything's coming back on a slow thing. So I'm catching up on other things. Like I just saw the newest Saw movie, and I have to say I liked it, but it was really weird at the end. It had a weird ending to it,
oh
which
yeah.
for Saw is kind of wow, okay.
Hmm.
And it is like actual John, like Jigsaw, not
Oh
his
wow.
followers. Yeah, this is like a flashback. It 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 takes place between movie two and movie three.
Oh.
So it's kind of like one of those, oh, here's a story you didn't know. So and it is pretty cool. So I do recommend if you haven't seen it and you have doubts about the Saw
I think the
movie,
last
this
one I
one's kind
saw
of
was
cool.
5, so I'm gonna have to catch up
Yeah,
first.
he was dead by then. Well dead
Yeah,
by then. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool. I was like, it was just a very odd ending. I'm like, oh, you went that way. Oh, okay, okay. It's Saw. I'm not gonna argue, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
All
but
right. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
really have
think we
anything
have too
else.
much
So,
else. Yeah. It,
uh,
it's it's gonna be like this for a while, guys. Out the what for the next
that's why we have a
year?
guest next
Yes.
week's our first guest of the year, Mr. Josh Blaylock. He's also going to talk about his Kickstarter for Hotel Niflheim, which is the first side shoot book from Mercy Sparks. It's like a resort for angels and demons um in that universe.
Hmm.
Um but yeah,
Is it like the Continental on the John Wick verse?
maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched John Wick yet, so I don't know any of them. I still haven't done that. I'm saving it for like a worst case scenario day where I'm really fucking bored and I have nothing else to go on. So,
That never happens to you though.
right? I know, that's what I'm saying. So, but it's good. It's you know, anyway, Josh is a friend of mine. I've known him a long time. He is always like he always for some reason knows about stuff ahead of time. He's a very forward thinking dude. Like he knew about Uber before like any of like he was the first person to mention Uber to me, and then the next person that mentioned Uber to me was like a year later. It
Hmm.
was crazy. He was into Bitcoin when it first started.
Oh
Like he was
wow.
a yeah, so he probably has like a fuck ton of money on that, but I'm never gonna ask him that. Um, So,
Is that a
but
hint for me to ask him about that since I don't know
no,
him that
please
well?
don't, please don't. But he is, I mean, he has written some cool shit. Like he has written Transformers. He has done G.I. Joe. He's done Voltron. He's done Mercy Sparks. He's owned and self-published since the time he was 16 or 18. And Mercy Sparks, so he self-published his first book in like 96. And then in 2000, Mercy Sparks hit. And the dude's a hustler, man. Like he like we were talking the other day and he said in like 2015 he hit 48 different states with like he basically did the continental United States win shows that year. So it was nuts. Um and yeah, he's a good dude. I really enjoy him to hang out with him. He did our Mercy Sparks cover, our label on the beer in 2019. He was our last big guest before the pandemic. And we're excited to see what he does. So I'm I'm pretty pumped about it though. His GI Joe got acknowledged in the first issue of GI Joe. Like Hama was like, thanks to those Devils Do guys for keeping it alive. I was like, fuck yes. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got. So unless you have anything else, we're gonna wrap this up.
No, it's there's not much. It's been very slow. It's more sports stuff, but we are recovering. We are recovering,
I told
And-
you.
But to be fair, at least it wasn't Cleveland or Dallas. I will rather be a Steeler fan than Cleveland
Dude.
or Dallas.
And you know what? And go Lions. Go Lions. That's all I'm gonna say.
Lions or Texans. Those are the two teams I'm kind of rooting for right now.
Really hope it's the Lions. They really deserve one. It's been a long time.
I wouldn't mind seeing the rookie get it. I like him a lot. He
Right.
seems like a solid kid. So we'll
All
see.
Well, we'll see everybody else next week, same time. And we